Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to make a video about just some very common questions I get through my Instagram live chat and also through my YouTube comments, and just try to answer them as genuinely and honestly as I possibly can. These aren't going to be in any specific like top 3 order or anything. It's just some very common questions I get often, so I just figured why not be able just to answer them on this video instead of have to always type it out. So, but before we get started, I will tell you the 3 questions so you can be prepared. So the first question will be, what's the food like? The second one will be what it's like taking the trains here. And the third will be, how do Japanese people treat foreigners? And this is all going to be from my perspective, and again, I'm going to try to answer it as genuinely as I possibly can. But again, this is just from me. I'm not a professional in any case, in any sense of the word. But yeah, let's get started. Let's get to that video. Okay, so yeah, on to the first question. Oh, real quick, before we get into the first question, I want to let you know that I'm going to try to keep these videos as unedited, or this video as unedited as I possibly can. Even if I make a mistake, I just want to be as genuine as I possibly can, so just keep the edits to a minimum. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first question was, what was it? Yeah, what's the food like? So, also, man, I could make a video for each of these questions, but yeah, it's all right. We're just going to nail all 3 of them right now. So what's the food like? Well, actually, I have some food right here. This is from the 7-Eleven here in Japan. I sometimes like to go to 7-Eleven for lunch or dinner. They actually have some really good quality dishes. This is called Hayashi Chuka, which is chilled ramen. It's close to summertime here, and they like to have cold ramen, and Japanese people like to have cold ramen, and I honestly like to have cold ramen. It's quite delicious. And I also have some chicken. There's chicken, yeah. This is steamed chicken that's all cut up, and I'm gonna add that to the ramen, and it should be quite delicious. But yeah, what's the food like? As you see, the food is, this is a normal dish. This is my dinner, and look how small that is. See? If you're an American like I am, when you first come to Japan, you will definitely notice the portion size differences. It is, it's a big difference. This itself is 299 calories with the chicken, which is 93 calories. So altogether, this entire dinner that I'm going to eat is going to be less than 400 calories. And that's typical. So a lot of people that come here or live here usually notice that they lose weight quite quickly. Not because of the food itself, just because of the portion size. Now, the food itself is quite healthy. Now, I know I'm eating 7-Eleven food and it's not the healthiest of foods, but in terms of freshness it is much better. Not much better. I wouldn't say much better. That's rude. It's somewhat better than back in the States. Now, that doesn't say that I don't like the food in the States. Of course, every time I go back to the States every year for Christmas, I am so happy to get back to my Publix, my American supermarket. You know, the mojo pork there, the grilled chicken, the rotisserie chicken. It's perfect. But the food here is very delicious, and it's quite healthy and fresh because they don't put as much seasoning on it, so you don't have as much like that cholesterol. Usually as much of that cholesterol, and in terms of like sweets, they don't put as much sugar in their sweets, so it doesn't come off as strong as like an American taste, or like I guess from many of the Western parts of the world, their taste. So though it did take me a while to get used to it, because I was raised up in the South in Florida, and like we like to put a lot of seasoning on our foods, so I was used to that strong taste in my foods. But when I came here, I would have to, you would just taste like the subtle taste of like a little bit of salt, a little bit of seasoning, and it for me, it was just kind of bland. It didn't taste all that good with a lot of the foods. But now that I've been here for a while, I've acquired the taste, and I really enjoy the subtle taste of some of these foods. And in terms of like things like foods like sushi, like you can't compare American sushi to Japanese sushi, and vice versa. Like Japan tries to make American style pizza, and it's it's terrible because it's just not comparison. So like, it's just differences. So the big differences that you should take away from this is that the portion sizes are going to be smaller, which you probably already knew, and the food is going to not have such a strong seasoning if you're coming from places like America or whatnot. So yeah, that's another one. Okay, if that wasn't coherent enough, don't worry, I have ADHD and I am trying to speak in coherent sentences while talking to you at the same time and keeping this video unedited. All right, next question. What's it like taking the trains? So, I have a strong love-hate relationship with trains. As I said before, I'm from America, and about 90%, 95% of America is not city. It's like a lot of urban rural areas. So a lot of the places in America, you just drive. You get to your car. You go anywhere. If you're going anywhere, you just drive there. You go to the supermarket, you drive. You go to the work, you drive. You go to the park, you drive. You go to meet your friends, you drive. You go to a restaurant. Anywhere you go, you're driving. Or sometimes you're walking, I guess, if you live in like New York City, or sometimes you take a subway, but that's very rare compared to the majority of Americans. However, it's the complete opposite here. A lot of people here take transportation, public transportation, and that is the trains. And the trains are very convenient. It's the best, I think, the #1 country in terms of public transportation, or one of the top countries in public transportation, Japan. And anywhere you want to go, you can get there by train. And usually a train is a pretty decent experience. Everyone is very respectful on the trains, they're very quiet. You know, there's not going to be any like loud people shouting or fighting or anything. Usually, sometimes you get some crazy people on trains, like every country has its own crazy people, but it's very, very rare. You can just, you know, chill, relax on the train. They usually, during the summer times, all the trains are air conditioned. During the winter times, all the trains have heat, are, you know, heated up. So like it's comfortable. Though, you might have seen videos like in Tokyo trains where people are literally being pushed and kicked inside the train. And that does happen. That happens on a daily basis. I've been, when I was like 2 years ago, when I was had to travel through Shinjuku through rush hour, which I think Shinjuku is the biggest train station in the world. Anyways, I had to go through there and a train line called the Saikyo line, and it's one of the worst train lines. I think that in Chuo. And every night I would come back home and I had to take it, and it was like people would be pushed, like the train staff would literally push people in, and like it was like you're like this the entire time in the train, and you're trying to like hold on to the railing, but sometimes you can't because you can't even lift your arm, and you're next to like these sweaty office men, businessmen. You're next to like these like old Japanese ladies, which you're worried because you're worried about like crushing them, so you're trying to pull your body off and try and, you know, but you're being pushed by like 30 other people in that direction. So like it's just overall, it's just a bad experience. Also like often I would see like just these weird old Japanese guys rubbing up on like young girls, because that's the time they can do it. And you'll see that often. Like you'll see these Japanese guys try to scoot in right behind some of these young girls because they can get like right on them, and they'll just kind of like put their hand on their legs or something, and it sucks because there's not much you can do about it as a foreigner. I've seen foreigners try to like fight back or whatnot, but there's not much you can do. So it's just overall a bad experience. I don't like it. So that's the only bad thing about the trains here. There's just too many people sometimes in some of the very densely populated areas, which is pretty much all of Tokyo. But yeah, enough of that. Last question. Let's answer the last question. Dude, I have this thing. I'm not even opening it. That's crazy. I guess I'll eat it later. I'll eat it after this video. The next question I get is, how do Japanese treat foreigners? Okay, this is a super loaded question. I am in no aspect of this, I'm not a professional person to ask. I can only speak from my own experience, and that is as a white American guy that's been here for 6 years, okay? There's a lot of foreigners that have been here for 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years they're much better to ask this question to. But since I get this question a lot, I figured I'll answer it from my own perspective. This is just me as a white American, nothing more, nothing less. Overall, I get treated very well. Simple as that. I get treated very well. Japan is a very homogeneous society. 98% plus is Japanese. The other percent of that is of Asian descent. So 98.5 or something Japanese, and other percent's Asian. So less than 0.5% I think is like white, black, Hispanic, and the majority of that is in Tokyo. So when you're in Tokyo, you won't get noticed that much, so you don't have to worry as you're walking through Tokyo or another big city like Osaka. But if you're going through the countryside of Japan, you're going to get noticed. And as a white American or a white English person or a white European or anything, it's from the stories I hear, it's usually good. People treat you well. I came to Japan, what, over 6 years ago, and I was not stationed, I'm not in the military. I was put with my English teaching company in Ibaraki, which is really countryside, and no one there could speak any lick of English, and I couldn't speak a lick of Japanese because I came here off of Badare, and it was great. I fell in love with the country because even though we couldn't communicate that well, they just treated me very, very well. And I just hear a lot of, from that perspective, people are treated well. However, like I said, it is a homogeneous society, so there is a lot of ignorance surrounding foreigners around the world. Just like there's a lot of ignorance from Americans about Asian countries, and it's just people are the same, you know? For example, like if I asked any of my Japanese students, junior high school or high school students, to draw a map of America, the 80% of the time, the student would draw an upside down triangle and say America. So that's their image of what America looks like. And they can't tell the difference between Americans or Canadians, obviously. No, obviously that sounds rude, but you know. I guess you know. I don't know. This is unedited, okay? This is genuine. But yeah, there's a lot of my friends here though are black. I have a lot of African American friends, and one of my best friends, Ario, who's from London, but both his parents are from Nigeria, I think. They definitely have different experiences from me, and I don't have a right to explain their experiences, but there is a really good channel on here that talks about like the black experience in Japan, and I think that's exactly what it's called, Black Experience in Japan, and I recommend you go see that if you want to. It's a really great channel, and they really dive in depth-wise into what it's like being a black person in Japan. But as for me, personally, as a white person, it's been great. Actually, I've gotten into so many things. Like, I got into acting, which I came to Japan with like next to no acting experience. And I've been in movies and commercials just because I fit the image they're looking for. I fit white guy, blue eyes, decent looking, I can smile, I can say English words like, wow, that's great, or that's cool, you're a cool person, stuff like that, and they're like, that's good. That's the image they think of what white people do. I don't know. That sounds kind of racist. But yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry guys, I'm getting all, again, genuine, but I do have ADHD, so like my brain works differently. Also, having ADHD here sucks because the medicine that they provide, like in America, Adderall, it's banned here. It's completely illegal. All stimulants are banned, actually. But yeah, that's off the tangent. But yeah, anyways, overall, it's been good. It's been good. I can't, like, it's great. People treat me well. People assume that I'm good, surprisingly. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve that, but people do anyways. But yeah, well, I guess that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about. Yeah, if there's more questions you want me to answer in my completely incoherent rants that I just did now, please let me know in the comments below, or my Instagram messages, or anything. This feels honestly really weird, the style of not editing and just kind of like rambling on, but that's what you guys have asked for, so that's what I'm going to provide. So that was weird. Did you hear that? My roof went. I think I have a ghost in here. But anyways, That's another story for another day. Anyways, guys, have a fantastic day or night wherever you are. And as always, peace.